back out to the greenhouse today, everybody. And if you're new here, welcome. We appreciate you guys joining us. It's warming up in the greenhouse here, but it's only about 50-55 degrees at the most outside today. We filmed out here earlier this morning, cooking and all that stuff, very early this morning on the stove, and we thought we would come out here and share what we're doing with the rest of our day. So it's fall, we are going into winter time. We're almost in mid-October here, and we do not have much time to plant anything outside the greenhouse other than garlic and stuff like that. So we wanted to talk about everything that we can plant right now in preparation for next season. And we're not going to talk about anything inside the greenhouse because we're going to cover that in a later video. We've got a whole video dedicated to just what we're planting in the greenhouse and what you can plant and what you can grow in a heated and unheated greenhouse. So stay tuned for that video. And this is basically just what we're doing today. So I thought I would share with everybody, what are we planting? We are planting perennials. So we do our farmers market and we have an absolute ton of plants. You can see all of these plants back here behind me. And I wanted to talk about some pest protection real quick while we're in the greenhouse, and then we're going to go check outside and see what we're doing as far as bed development for perennial stuff and unsold stuff that we're using for ourselves. So there's no loss with any unsold products. We always have to plant more and bring more to the market than we're going to sell. That's just how the nature of business is. You don't want to run out. And we've got an absolute ton of plants. So I'm going to take this camera down. We're going to talk about everything that we've got going on inside the greenhouse and why we're planting perennials right now. So just a quick look around here. Let's start up at the front. So these are all of our plants. These are actually not for sale. This fig tree is for sale. This fig tree is also, but we've got lots and lots of plants here. Some of our grapes that are going dormant on us. We've got some hickasap honeyberries and lots of blueberries. They're all starting to go dormant and they don't really like being in the pot, but these are a high bush blueberry and we didn't have a spot for them yet. So we're developing that. We're going to plant these perennials this fall here. So this week, all of these are getting planted out. So it is certainly not too late to be planting anything. All of those perennials are good to go in the ground. We've got lots and lots of perennials around here. So we've got our hyssop here. This hyssop, you can see some purple flowers there bouncing around a bit, but it's got pretty little purple, like skunky flowers. It almost smells like a cannabis or something like that. So what we're doing is using this as a deer repellent. One of our customers said that it works great as a deer repellent because I hadn't heard that yet and I didn't hear that or find that in my research. So I knew it was good for stomach cramps and stomach ailments. I really did not realize that it was so good for deer repellent. It deters deers and it keeps them away. So we can use all of this because we've got lots of cornfields around us and stuff that the deer come and coyotes come and all types. So we're always dealing with wild animals trying to eat our crops and stuff. So one little propagation flat is going to provide a huge hedge of hyssop that will be a lifetime plant along with this crop here. So these are Egyptian walking onions. Now these are an amazing onion to have. These are actually for the greenhouse here. They're going into the greenhouse and getting planted in, but we are going to start a further bed of them outside. Just like we've got the patch of wild ramps down at the other end of the greenhouse. We've been babying those for about a year and a half now, and they survived all last winter. We ate off them. We've been eating off them all summer long in the greenhouse here. They are amazing to eat, and they really do propagate back. If you cut them down to the ground, they just keep growing as long as you don't pull them out. So a lot of these crops you can harvest over and over and just practice the cut and come again method. I'm going to set this camera up. So I had to just set the camera up real quick. So jumping from all of our perennial stuff, I have this huge, absolutely massive marigold bush behind me. Now this marigold bush is going to provide amazing pest protection for this bed of potatoes that is right next to me. You cannot see, but we just dropped that in our last video. This is an amazing organic form of pest protection. All of these little marigolds are very potent in smell, and your chickens can snack on marigolds. They're not a bad plant to have around. They really protect those brassicas, your cabbage, your heading collards and stuff like that, all your broccolis. So we grow a lot of that in the greenhouse throughout the winter. So this is going to be a great plant to have until it dies, if it does die. So I want to see how well I can take care of this. I might cut it back a little bit because it's going from outside to inside, but this bush is something we grew from seeds we have saved over the years. So very good pest protection. And another great pest protector is all of your onions, like those Egyptian walking onions. We've got chives. We've got chives we're going to show outside the greenhouse where we're planting. And the onions and the onion family, we've got white onions we're going to plant in here. We've got a lot of onions and lettuces and stuff, so those go hand in hand. The onions are going to protect those leafier greens because the sulfur smell in the onions actually deters and masks all of the smells of all of those very soft greens that are wanting to be eaten by us and the pests. So enough pest protection here. Let's take a quick look at everything we've got down on the table. So aloe vera, awesome plant, but we've got all of these native elderberries. We've got 4 to 5 varieties of elderberries we propagate and have patches of on the property. So we're trying to do just native Illinois elderberries right now. We've got some of our stevia, the sugar plant. You can see some beautiful flowers on the little stevia plant there. I'm trying to focus on it here. And moving over here, we've got thyme, which is a great plant. We're gonna plant some of this in the greenhouse. We've got parsley, lots and lots of red vein sorrel. This red vein sorrel we had over here was some of the first stuff. It looks kind of ragged right now, but it's some of the first stuff to pop up in the spring. I just pulled it all out, so it's starting to rejuvenate. Some haggard looking basil. We've got some of our sage, yarrows, lots of strawberries. For the most part, everything we've got left is perennial stuff, so we're able to just basically hock out a huge row and plant all of that in, and we're able to fill that plant in. And as long as you get them in within a decent amount of time, you shouldn't have any issues with being too cold. Those roots should be established as long as it wasn't a fresh cutting. If it is a fresh cutting, you should be doing it in the middle of winter. We're actually going to go head outside the greenhouse and go check out some bed development here. So every one of those varieties of plants mentioned in there are growing out here. Obviously we propagate from them and stuff, but we've got a ton to plant, so we're always just basically filling in beds. This is a row right here. We've got butterfly flower, our zinnia, which the zinnia is going to die back, but we're going to fill in another row. So we're out here at some of our cut flowers and stuff like that. We've got this huge massive bed that we have been developing over last 5 years or so, 3, 4, 5 years, and we've been planting persimmons, all types of elderberries and stuff like that. And then we've been trying to develop more area because this right here is just going to be perennial stuff. Next to the greenhouse we have annual stuff, all of our market garden stuff. Coming over to this section, we've got hickasap honeyberries down low. We've got pear trees up high, and we've got some of our Asian pears surrounding that. And another Asian pear, lots of triple crown blackberries all the way down to sunflowers and persimmon trees, rhubarb growing underneath, and we've got lots and lots of little polycultures. We've got an abundance of plants in this little polyculture right here. We've got our yarrow, St. John's wort, we've got lots of York elderberries popping up on the other side. We've got our cold hardy kiwis growing up this willow tree here, so sacrificial willow tree. We've got some marshmallow herb in the back, some mugwort over there, and we've got gooseberries on the other side. There is just a super abundance of plants moving through this little tiny 12-foot bed right here. So moving from our little willow tree polyculture, we've got all of these ranch style elderberries here, and they are a short variety, and I got these from a friend in a trade. And this is a very interesting variety because they produce a lot of heads, a lot of berries, but they don't get very tall. So this was a very cool one to me. I've got maybe 4 or 5 of them planted here, and we're just continually planting. You can see we just create strips in the grass with wood chips, and then we'll plant our perennials. And you can see these are some plants from last year. We've got chives, yarrow down here. We've got some of our oregano, and then moving down, we've got some of our hazelnuts and stuff. We're just continually transplanting stuff and constantly planting perennials because perennials are where it is at. Looks like my little guy's scooter broke, so I gotta fix that real quick. The scooter crisis averted. So we're heading back through all of this new development here. This is all just new development patches. We've been experimenting with our perennial kales and stuff like that. All of our fruit trees, all the comfrey and all the berries we put underneath them. It's just a constant array of plants. So making our way back over towards the greenhouse here. This is all of our market area and stuff like that next to the greenhouse. But moral of the story is that You should be planting as many perennials right now in fall time as you can, because they're on sale at the stores. You can get them cheaper. Very, very good time to buy perennials if you're going to. I happen to have a market shop in my greenhouse full of all types of perennials. So we just take our pick and we're going to basically plant what we want. We have a couple markets left, so we're basically just selling elderberries and a few things like that. Going to dig up a whole bunch of Jerusalem artichokes and have a good sale of those and all the other crops that are late season. So we're hoping to have a good turnout, and I hope everybody enjoyed this video. It was just kind of one of those things. I'm out here working with perennials and I really wanted to share and get everybody on board with planting perennials right now and going to check and see if you can find some cheap ones at the store. I'd like to thank everyone for watching this video and checking this out. I'm going to be dropping a video on cheap shade cloths versus expensive shade cloths, and I'm sure you can guess the results, but we're going to do a review on an expensive shade cloth we bought and a cheap shade cloth we bought. So stay tuned for all the updates coming from the greenhouse, and until next time.